internet access around the world. Mr. Trump spoke at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida and said it's thanks to a Japanese billionaire who's pledged to invest $50 billion in the U.S.
We have a combination of Sprint for 5,000 jobs, and that's coming from all over the world, and they're coming back into the United States, which is a nice change. And also OneWeb, 3,000 jobs. That's a new company.
Separately, the president-elect accused President Obama today of making inflammatory statements and throwing up roadblocks. He tweeted, thought it was going to be a smooth transition. Not. Later, though, he told reporters that it's all going, quote, very, very smoothly. President Obama has designated new national monuments in Utah and Nevada this evening. The Bears Ears Monument in Utah covers more than 1.3 million acres of tribal lands, with an estimated 100,000 archaeological sites. In Nevada, the Gold Butte National Monument will cover 300,000 acres. It's near where rancher Cliven Bundy led a standoff with federal agents in 2014. There was talk today of a nationwide ceasefire in Syria worked out by Turkey and Russia. The state-run Turkish news agency reported it's happening, but the two governments would not confirm it. Syrian rebel leaders called such talks premature. Meanwhile, Turkey said again it is still opposed to keeping Bashar al-Assad in power. Russia supports the Syrian president. Russian search teams have recovered the second flight recorder from a Russian military plane that crashed into the Black Sea. All 92 people on board were killed in Sunday's disaster. Crews pulled the second recorder from the water today, and investigators voiced hope that its data is intact.
The handles are not broken, which is the first sign showing that probably it isn't damaged inside. If there wasn't any impact of the salt water, then the tape will be in good condition.
Two Russian news outlets reported that just before the crash, a cockpit crew member yelled about a problem with the wing flaps and then shouted that the plane was falling. German authorities have detained a second suspect in the attack on a Berlin Christmas market last week. Prosecutors say the Tunisian man was a contact of Anis Amri. He is believed to have driven the truck that killed 12 people. Amri was shot dead last week by police in Italy. It's unclear what role the new suspect might have played in the Berlin attack. Greece says it plans to build smaller detention centers to improve living conditions for migrants on outlying islands. The Greek migration minister said the goal is to reduce crime and speed up the asylum process for some 15,000 people. Meanwhile, another 48 migrants were rescued today between the Greek island of Chios and the Turkish coast. They were packed onto a rubber dinghy. Back in this country, the man convicted in a church massacre in South Carolina says he will not present witnesses or evidence as he faces a possible death sentence. Dylan Roof spoke as his own attorney at a hearing in Charleston today. The punishment phase of his hate crimes trial begins next week. The jury already found Roof guilty of killing 9 black worshipers in 2015. Wall Street sold off today after a sharp drop in home resale.